Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the next lecture. Today, I have a pleasure to talk about relationship between Islam and healthcare. Let's start from the overview. Islam is one of the major world religion with around 1 and 3 billion people around the world being followers and 40 million in Europe and in European Union around 20 million. There are different factions in Islam today. Most important division comes between Sunni and Shiites. In Islam, there is no division between sacrament profanum, no division between clergy and laity except from Shiism. The differences are not theological or dogmatic, because both recognize the Quran and Sunnah, but political. And Islam is one of the youngest monotheistic major world religions. It is also a socio-political ideology. Initially, it was the religion of the Arab peoples, but it quickly spread to other continents. Its origins are closely linked to the Prophet, with the Arabic name Muhammad. The word Islamic in Arabic means submission to God, Allah. The Quran, which is the holy book, has been written with its general principles, and it can be seen as a constitution and legal code of the Muslim community. Not a single word of the 114 chapters, surahs, has changed to these days. Generally, the Quran indicates duties towards Allah and sets out a system of punishments and rewards. It's for the health behaviors in Islam. So, Islam is a holistic system of life which devotes much attention to the generally accepted concept of health. Life and health form an inseparable whole. The religion sees to it that human spiritual, mental, physical and psychological needs are maximally fulfilled, protected and brought into balance. The Islamic attitude to health is closely connected with the Muslim image of God and human, with the question about the sense of creation, the essence of salvation, and also the experience of sin, suffering, and illness. Submission to God and faith are indispensable elements of a healthy and harmonious order of life. They are a condition for the health of body and soul. In Islam, concern for health is expressed through two methods: prevention and treatment. There is a famous Arabic saying, "A gram of prevention is better than a ton of medicine." The acquisition of comprehensive knowledge, including medical knowledge, serves the maximum protection of human health. In his book Medicine of the Prophet, the Islamic scholar Ibn Qayyim described the Islamic approach to health medicine, including the healing effects of many herbs, fruits, vegetables, hygiene procedures, prevention, and diet. According to the Quran, most Muslims who are faithful to the one God are healthy and happy, while infidels and hypocrites are described as sick. There is an important ritual in Islam called ablution, which is a ritual washing of the body, which is done not only before prayer, but also when there is a contamination with impurity. This is an important concept in Islam. There are two types of ablution: ordinary and the full or large, which involves washing the whole. In Islam, the concept of impurity is of great importance. We have minor impurities and great or major impurities. For instance, minor impurities occur where persons of other sex were touched or intimate parts of the body were touched. In comparison, great impurity is caused, for instance, by sexual intercourse, menstruation, giving birth, eating or drinking a product prohibited by Quran. It is also very important to notice that in Islam, the left hand of the body is considered unclean. So, in order to prevent purity, a Muslim performs most of his daily activities with his or her right hand. Islamic law distinguishes also between clean and unclean things, thus dividing food into two categories as well. So unclean foods include wine, blood and pork, and those that become so in certain situations. It is mainly about what has been killed for the purpose of worshipping someone other than Allah and not in accordance with ritual. Fasting is also of great importance in Islam. It cleanses the human organism and thus serves for health. But first of all, it is treated as a method of spiritual self-purification. And as you see in the slide, there is a lot of prohibited food in Islam, and other actions. A child in a Muslim family is a blessing. Having a child gives the woman a special position in the family and a respect of men. The child at birth should hear the first word Allah and be registered in the mosque. The Imam whispers in one ear the call to prayer, Azan, and in the order the profession of faith, Shahada. According to Muslim law, a son remains under the legal guardianship of his mother until the age of 7 and a daughter until the age of 9. Children in Islam communities are taught to obey their parents, mainly their father and siblings. Respect for parents and elders is highly valued. Children are brought up with great indulgence. Often the older children bring up the younger one. The Muslim family is patriarchal. During the child's hospitalization, the nurse must show respect for traditional family roles, emphasize the father's role as head of the family. When a woman is pregnant, she should not have sexual intercourse for the 4th-6th month of pregnancy. 40 days after childbirth, she remains impure. During this period, she does not have intercourse, does not say a prayer, etc. Women should breastfeed her child for 2 years and consult her husband before weaning. In Islamic culture, there is no tradition of family childbirth. In Islamic law, the presence of a man at the birth is permissible, however, it is not forbidden, etc. Cesarean sections are permitted. The husband is present during the medical subjective examination. Female staff must be present during delivery. It must be possible to wash one's hand after using the pool and after the end of confinement to have a large ablution. How about adult patients in Islam? How to take care of them? Let's start from this that body examinations require the patient consent, as with all other people. And women try not to reveal their bodies. Prayer is an essential duty for every Muslim, and he or she will want to fulfill it 5 times a day, regardless of his or her state of health. Of course, proper food should be delivered according to Islamic law. One also should create conditions for keeping the hands clean before and after eating and for reciting the request to Allah before starting meal. It is also important to create conditions for washing hand, for performing ablution. One also should take into account that the patient may not agree to a venipuncture in the left arm. As for a she patient, it's important to make sure that a Muslim woman patient can be taken care of by a female nurse, and a Muslim man patient can be taken care by a male nurse. It is also important that the examination of the Muslim women patient is carried out by a female doctor and examination of the Muslim men patient by a male doctor. Honoring is also important, honoring the fact that a Muslim female patient may have clothes that cover her entire body, including her head, arms, and legs, so it is advisable to ask her family to bring a long nightgown to the hospital, which she will wear not only for the night, but may also wish to be bathed in with. Let's take a look also into some other important facts. For instance, the patient is saved as long as possible. Painkillers are used, including narcotics, if the patient's condition requires it. Alcohol is not permitted as a drug, but it may be used as a disinfectant and as an ingredient in a drug. Patients with diabetes may not accept pork. Insulin is for dying and funeral ceremonies. Yeah, so funeral ceremonies take place in the mosque immediately or up to 3 days at the latest from death. The body of the deceased, wearing only the shroud, is placed in a deep grave in the cemetery. The deceased is buried with his or her face turned towards me. Muslim tradition orders the immediate family to sit by the sick dying person, to touch him or her, to pray together. The wife of a dying husband sits by him but does not touch him. Care institutions for the elderly are not known in the Muslim world. The care of if the care afforded for one's parents is considered to be a point of honor and a blessing. Thank you for listening to the lecture on Islam. Goodbye.